Welcome back to the channel. Rarest coins. Today, we are taking a deep dive into one of the most talked about coins in all of modern United States coin collecting, the 1965 Washington quarter. If you have ever heard claims that a 1965 quarter is worth as much as $1.9 million, you are not alone. This coin has exploded across social media, often surrounded by mystery, excitement, and huge numbers. But is there any truth to it? Could a quarter from 1965 really be worth nearly $2 million? Today, we're uncovering the real history, the real value, the real rare errors, and what you should actually look for. Let's begin with the history. The year 1965 was one of the most important turning points in American coinage. For decades, quarters were made of 90% silver. But by the early 1960s, the United States faced a major coin shortage, caused by rising silver prices and people hoarding coins instead of spending them. To fix this crisis, the mint made a historic and dramatic decision. In 1965, the quarter changed from silver to the copper-nickel-clad composition we still use today. This change marked the beginning of the modern clad era. It also created confusion and unusual conditions inside the mint, which is why the 1965 quarter has become legendary. Now, let's talk about the million-dollar rumor. Some online posts claim that certain 1965 quarters are worth as much as $1.9 million. While it sounds exciting, there is no official record of any 1965 quarters selling for that amount. No auction house, no grading company, and no documented private sale shows anything close to $1.9 million. But this rumor started because there are rare 1965 quarters that are genuinely valuable. Not millions, but thousands. These are not ordinary clad coins. These are extremely rare transitional errors. During the change from silver to clad, some 1964 silver planchets accidentally remained in the machinery at the mint. As a result, a few 1965 quarters were mistakenly struck on silver planchets. These rare silver 1965 quarters are not myths. They are real, documented, and certified, and they are incredibly collectible. These coins weigh differently from clad quarters, they sound different, and they have a different appearance. When authenticated, they can sell for tens of thousands of dollars. Some examples have sold for well over $10,000 and even reached into the range of $70,000 depending on condition. These numbers are impressive, but they are nowhere near $1.9 million. What makes the 1965 quarter interesting to collectors today? Let's break down the possibilities. First, you have the common 1965 copper-nickel-clad quarter. These are extremely abundant. Hundreds of millions were made. A normal circulated example is worth 25 cents. A nice uncirculated example might bring $1 or $2. Even high-grade mint-state examples in MS65 or MS66 are common enough that their values remain modest. But when you reach extremely high grades, like MS67 or MS68, the value can rise dramatically because these grades are very difficult to find. A top-graded 1965 quarter can bring hundreds or sometimes over $1,000. Second, we have the rare transitional errors struck on leftover silver planchets. These are the coins everyone hopes to find. These look almost exactly like the standard silver quarters from before 1965, but they have 1965 as the date. They weigh 5.75 grams instead of the clad weight of 5.67 grams. They have a silver ring when dropped, and they do not show the copper-colored layer on the edge. These are the coins that collectors dream of discovering in a roll of quarters or in an inherited jar of old change. Third, you also have the dramatic mint errors. Off-center strikes, double strikes, broad strikes, missing clad layers, and wrong planchet errors can all increase the value significantly. A 1965 quarter missing part of its clad layer or showing a major striking mistake can sell for hundreds or thousands, depending on the severity and condition. These coins are the real hidden treasures. Now let's address the big number again. Could a 1965 quarter ever be worth $1.9 million? There is no known sale at that level. But in theory, a once-in-a-lifetime discovery could fetch an enormous price if it were a previously unknown error of exceptional rarity. This is what fuels the imagination of treasure hunters. While the million-dollar claim is exaggerated, the excitement comes from the fact that 1965 was a chaotic minting year. Anything is possible, And collectors know that transitional years often produce incredible surprises that, yes, oh, what should you look for if you have a 1965 quarter? First, check the edge. If you see the copper layer, it is clad. If it looks silver all the way through, test the weight. A true silver 1965 quarter will weigh slightly more than a clad one. Next, look for strange features that could indicate a mint error. Missing layers, off-center strikes, distorted shapes, or mismatched planchets are where the real value lies. And as always, if you think you found something special, send it to a professional grading company to verify it at the end of the day. The 1965 Washington quarter is not a guaranteed $1.9 million fortune, but it is one of the most historically significant and collectible coins of the modern era. The real treasures hide in the details, the errors, and the rare silver transitional pieces. These are the coins that bring real money, real excitement, and real stories. Thank you for joining me today as we uncovered the truth behind the 1965 quarter. If you enjoy honest, exciting, and educational coin content, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with other treasure hunters. Every coin has a story, and the next great discovery might be sitting in your pocket right now. See you in the next video. If you want, I can also write a dramatic version, a shorter viral version, or a more documentary-style script. Welcome back to the channel. Rarest Coins. Today, we are taking a deep dive into one of the most misunderstood and talked about modern coins in American coin collecting, the 1982 Washington quarter. You may have seen videos and posts claiming this coin could be worth as much as $1.6 million. The number sounds unbelievable, and it should, but that rumor didn't come from nowhere. There are reasons why the 1982 quarter has become a hot topic, and today we're going to break down the history, the real value, the rare errors, and the truth behind the million-dollar myth. Let's begin with the history. The early 1980s were a chaotic time for the United States Mint. The nation was facing a recession. Precious metal prices were unstable, and the mint was producing extremely high numbers of coins for circulation. In 1982, something unusual happened. The United States Mint decided not to produce mint sets for collectors. This means many coins from 1982 and 1983 were released only for circulation, not preserved in special collector packaging. Because of this, finding high-grade examples from these years is harder than you might expect. Even though millions were made, most were used heavily. That's where the story of the 1982 quarter begins. The 1982 was struck at the Denver Mint using copper-nickel clad composition. It is not a silver coin, and at first glance, it seems like an ordinary quarter. But because so few high-quality examples were saved, collectors today pay attention to high-grade mint state coins. When a coin is struck during a year with no collector sets, top-condition survivors can become surprisingly valuable. Now let's address the big claim. Some videos and articles suggest that a 1982 quarter can sell for as much as $1.6 million. This number is not based on any confirmed auction record or certified sale. There has never been a documented sale anywhere near this amount for a 1982 quarter. So where did the rumor come from? It comes from the combination of social media exaggeration and the fact that certain rare errors from this era can sell for impressive amounts. These true rare errors fuel the imagination, and the rumor grows from there. But while the $1.6 million figure is not real, that doesn't mean the 1982 quarter is worthless. In fact, there are several versions of this coin that can bring serious money. Let's break them down. First, condition matters. High-grade mint state examples graded MS66, MS67, and above can be surprisingly valuable because they are difficult to find. Circulation took a heavy toll on coins from 1982, and very few have survived in pristine condition. A top-graded 1982 quarter can sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars. These prices are based on real auction results. Second, mint errors. This is where the most excitement comes from. Genuine mint errors that were created during the striking process can turn a normal quarter into a valuable collector piece. Errors to watch for include off-center strikes, double strikes, broad strikes, missing clad layers, wrong planchet strikes, and major die breaks. A 1982 quarter missing its clad layer can be worth hundreds of dollars. A dramatic off-center strike can be worth hundreds or even more. A coin struck on the wrong metal planchet can be worth thousands. These are real, documented values that collectors pay. Third, transitional and experimental errors. During the early 1980s, the mint tested various techniques and occasionally produced unusual pieces. Though extremely rare, any 1982 D quarter struck on a leftover or experimental planchet would be incredibly valuable. These coins would not sell for millions, but they could bring significant four- or five-figure prices. Now let's talk realistic values. A normal circulated 1982 D quarter is worth 25 cents. An attractive, uncirculated example might bring a few dollars. A certified high-grade mint state coin can sell from $20 into the hundreds. The finest known examples can go even higher. And dramatic mint errors can reach hundreds or thousands depending on rarity and demand. These are real, verifiable, and achievable numbers for collectors that why does the million-dollar story continue? Because people love the idea of hidden treasure. The concept that a simple quarter from the early 1980s could be a massive payday is exciting. And the truth is, the United States Mint has produced incredible errors over the years. Every so often, a remarkable discovery hits the news and captures everyone's imagination. The 1982 D quarter hasn't produced a $1.6 million coin, but it has produced genuinely valuable pieces that keep collectors searching. If you have a 1982 D quarter, here is what you should do. First, examine the coin for condition. Look for brightness, sharp details, and a clean surface. Second, check thoroughly for mint errors. Look at the edges, the lettering, the strike, and the overall shape. Any unusual detail could be a clue. Third, if your coin appears exceptional, consider sending it for professional grading. Authentication is the key to unlocking real value. At the end of the day, the 1982 D Washington quarter may not be a guaranteed $1.6 million windfall, but it is a fascinating modern coin with real collecting potential. Its unusual history, lack of mint sets, and rare errors make it a favorite among treasure hunters. Thank you for joining me today as we explored the story, the truth, and the excitement behind the 1982 D quarter. If you enjoy honest coin information and real treasure hunting content, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with fellow collectors. Every coin has a story, and the next great discovery might be in your pocket right now. See you in the next video. If you want, I can write a more dramatic version, a shorter viral version, or a collector-focused educational version. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into one of the most talked about modern coins in American numismatics, the 1994 D Washington quarter. You may have seen videos or posts online claiming this coin is worth $1.4 million. But what's the truth behind the hype? Could a regular quarter from the 90s really be worth a fortune? Let's break down the history, the real value, the rare errors, and why this coin suddenly became the center of attention. First, let's start with the history. The Washington Quarter series began in 1932, originally intended as a one-year commemorative for George Washington's 200th birthday. But the design was so popular that it stayed. By the time we reached the 1990s, the quarter had already seen decades of everyday circulation, and millions of people carried them without ever imagining that any of them could become valuable collectibles. In 1994, the Denver Mint produced hundreds of millions of quarters. Most of them are extremely common. They were made of copper-nickel clad, not silver, and almost all of them went straight into circulation. So how did the rumor start that the 1994 D quarter is worth more than $1 million? The answer lies in a mix of misunderstanding, rare error possibilities, and internet exaggeration. While the standard 1994 D quarter is not rare, what collectors truly chase are the unusual mint errors. Genuine mint errors can turn an ordinary coin into something extraordinary, but they must be dramatic, authentic, and certified. Some examples of extremely valuable errors include double strikes, off-center strikes, wrong planchet strikes where the quarter is accidentally minted on a dime or nickel planchet, and rare die cap errors. These serious mint mistakes can bring thousands of dollars at auction. Not millions, but still impressive sums for a coin that originally cost 25 cents. Where does the $1.4 million figure come from? It mostly comes from viral posts and videos that took a small grain of truth and turned it into pure hype. There is no recorded auction sale, no verified private sale, and no numismatic expert who has ever authenticated a 1994 D quarter worth that kind of money. In fact, the highest recorded sales for the 1994 D quarter involve coins graded in pristine, mint state condition. A perfect or near-perfect grade of MS-68 is extremely hard to find, and those coins have sold for strong amounts. These top-graded examples have broad auction prices in the high hundreds to low thousands. Very impressive for a modern coin, but far from $1 million payday. But that doesn't mean your 1994 D quarter is worthless. There are certain things to look for that can dramatically increase its value. First, check the condition. A coin with sharp details, full luster, and no scratches or wear is worth far more than a normal circulated quarter. Next, look for doubling on the lettering, the numbers, or George Washington's profile. If the doubling is true hub doubling and not just shadowing or damage, it can be valuable. Also look for misaligned strikes, clipped planchets, or any unusual metal deformities. If the coin looks bizarre, mint-made, and not damaged after it left the factory, you may have a collectible worth real money. Always remember to get rare coins professionally graded by a trusted service like PCGS or NGC. The grading certification can dramatically change the value. Now let's talk about realistic numbers. A typical circulated 1994 D quarter is worth exactly 25 cents or slightly more as a collectible. A high-grade mint state example, especially in MS-66 to MS-68, may sell anywhere from $20 to several $100s depending on the market. Rare, dramatic errors can reach hundreds or even thousands. These are the coins that collectors truly pay premiums for. Not because of internet rumors, but because the errors are real, fascinating, and historically significant. The key message is this. The 1994 D Washington quarter is not a $1.4 million treasure, but it is part of an important American coin series that continues to capture the attention of collectors everywhere. And while most of these coins are common, the true gems are out there. Maybe in a coin jar, maybe in an old drawer, maybe in a collection you inherited. The value isn't in made-up stories. It's in the real, verifiable mint errors and high-grade survivors that still shine after decades. That if you enjoyed this breakdown and want more honest, factual, and exciting coin hunting content, make sure to like the video, share it, and subscribe for more. And remember, every coin tells a story. Some are worth pennies, some are worth thousands, and the thrill is in the search. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. If you'd like, I can also create a shorter version, a more dramatic version, or a version written for on-camera or voiceover style. Welcome back to the channel. Today we are diving deep into another coin surrounded by viral rumors and explosive claims. This time, it is the 1996 P Washington quarter. If you have heard people say this coin is worth up to $1.3 million, you are not alone. Social media videos, blog posts, and short clips have been spreading that number like wildfire. But what is the truth? Could a quarter from 1996, a coin most of us used for vending machines and parking meters, truly be worth a fortune? Let's walk through the real history, the real value, and the real reasons why the 1996 P quarter has become such a hot topic. To understand the importance of this coin, we have to take a quick look back at the Washington quarter series. The design dates all the way back to 1932, created to honor the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. It was never intended to become a permanent design, but it stayed for decades. By the time we reached the mid-90s, the Washington quarter was a common sight in American pockets, having gone through years of circulation and millions of daily transactions. Now, let's focus specifically on 1996. The Philadelphia Mint produced hundreds of millions of 1996 P quarters. These coins were made from copper nickel clad and were intended for heavy, everyday use, not for limited edition collector releases. With such a large mintage, the 1996 P quarter is generally considered common. So how did the idea start that one of these coins could be worth over $1 million? The answer is simple. Viral videos. Over time, claims began circulating that some specific 1996 P coins contained special errors so dramatic and so rare that they could sell for over $1 million. The problem is that no such coin has ever been authenticated, graded, or sold for that amount. There is no auction evidence, no record from major grading companies, no confirmed sale in public or private markets. The $1.3 million claim is pure exaggeration built on the excitement of coin collecting. But do not let that discourage you, because the 1996 P quarter still has some fascinating potential. While a regular circulated example is worth its face value, the value begins to rise when you look for high grades and rare mint errors. Coin collectors know that the real treasure is found in details most people overlook. For example, a pristine mint state coin with strong luster and no signs of wear can bring far more than face value. Coins graded MS-67 or MS-68 become significantly scarcer, and these high-grade pieces can sell for impressive amounts at auction. Now let's talk about errors, because this is where the real value lies. Not every error is valuable, but some are. Serious mint errors can turn an ordinary 25-cent coin into something worth hundreds or even thousands. These include off-center strikes, double strikes, clipped planchets, and wrong planchet strikes, such as a quarter accidentally minted on a dime or nickel planchet. Collectors love dramatic errors that are clearly caused during minting rather than from post-mint damage. And when these errors are certified, they can bring real money. So what is the realistic value of a 1996 P quarter? A typical example pulled from circulation is worth 25 cents. A nice uncirculated coin may be worth a few dollars. A high-grade mint state coin can sell anywhere from $20 to several hundred, depending on the grade. And the rare, dramatic error coins can push into the hundreds or even thousands, depending on the severity of the mistake and the demand among collectors. Not millions, but still incredibly rewarding for a coin that many people overlook. That brings us back to the million-dollar myth. Why do these numbers spread so quickly? Because everyone loves the idea of finding treasure in everyday life. The fantasy that a simple quarter in your pocket could change your financial future is exciting. And while the million-dollar claims are not based in documented fact, the hunt for rare errors and high-grade coins is absolutely real. Collectors are always searching for the most flawless examples, the strangest anomalies, and the rarest survivors of the minting process. So here is what you should do if you have a 1996 P quarter. First, take a close look at its condition. If it still has original shine, no scratches, and crisp details, it might be worth sending to a grading service for evaluation. Next, inspect it under magnification for any doubling, misalignment, metal distortions, or unusual shapes. If something looks truly strange and mint-made rather than damaged by use, it might be worth far more than face value. And as always, getting a coin professionally authenticated is the key to unlocking its real value. At the end of the day, the 1996 P Washington quarter is not a $1.3 million miracle coin, but it is a piece of American history with potential value for collectors who know what to look for. Modern quarters are still being discovered with rare mistakes, and who knows? The next big mint error might be sitting in someone's change jar right now. Thank you for joining me today as we explored the truth, the myths, and the real stories behind the 1996 P Washington quarter. If you enjoyed this video and want more honest and informative coin content, make sure to like, subscribe, and share. And remember, every coin has a story, and the fun is in the search. See you in the next video. If you want, I can also write a shorter version, a more dramatic version, or a more conversational script for on-camera delivery. Welcome back to the channel. Today we are taking a close look at another coin that has been blowing up across the internet, the 1991 P Washington quarter. In the last few years, videos and posts have claimed that this coin could be worth as much as $1.5 million. But is it true? Could a quarter from 1991 really turn into a life-changing treasure? Today we are going to break down the real history, the real facts, the real value, and the truth behind the viral million-dollar rumor. Let's begin with the history. The Washington quarter has a long and iconic story. First minted in 1932 to honor the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth, the design quickly became a permanent part of American currency. By 1991, the quarter had been circulating for decades, used by millions of people every day. The 1991 P quarter, minted in Philadelphia, was created during a time when the United States Mint was producing large quantities of coins to meet the demands of the growing economy. Because of this, the 1991 P quarter is generally considered a common coin. There were hundreds of millions minted, and most were released directly into circulation. So if this coin is common, How did the idea start that it could be worth $1.5 million? The answer is simple: viral videos and exaggerated posts. Over time, people started sharing claims that extremely rare mint errors on the 1991 P quarter could make it worth a fortune. While it is true that some rare mint errors from any year can bring serious money, there has never been a confirmed case of a 1991 P quarter selling for anything close to $1.5 million. There is no auction record, no museum record, and no certified sale from a recognized grading service. The $1 million claim is not based on documented numismatic fact. However, that doesn't mean the 1991 P quarter cannot be valuable. Some coins from this year can bring strong prices, but only under specific conditions. The first factor is condition. Most 1991 P quarters show heavy wear from years of circulation, but a coin that was saved early, protected, and kept in pristine condition can be worth more than its face value. High-grade examples in mint state conditions, such as MS66 or MS67, can sell for significant amounts because they are much harder to find. Coins with original strong luster, sharp details, and no scratches always attract collector interest. The second factor is mint errors. This is where real value can appear. Genuine mint errors are created at the mint itself, not after the coin enters circulation. These errors can include off-center strikes, double strikes, broad strikes, clipped planchets, or being accidentally struck on a wrong planchet. Dramatic, visually stunning errors are the ones collectors pay the most for. These coins can sell for hundreds or sometimes even thousands of dollars, depending on how rare and spectacular the error is. These are real prices based on real sales, not viral rumors. Now let's talk realistically about value. A typical 1991 P quarter that has been circulating for years is worth exactly 25 cents. A clean, uncirculated example may be worth a few dollars. A high-grade certified mint state example might sell for $50, $100, or even several $100s, depending on the grade. A rare, dramatic error could be worth hundreds or more. These are genuine, documented values that serious collectors recognize. They do not reach $1.5 million, but they can still be very rewarding for a coin many people overlook. Why do the million-dollar stories spread so quickly? Because everyone loves the idea of finding treasure in everyday change. It is exciting to think that a simple quarter sitting in a drawer might make someone rich. And while the million-dollar claim is just a rumor, searching for high-grade coins and true mint errors is absolutely real. New discoveries are made all the time, and collectors are always searching for unusual survivors from the minting process. If you have a 1991 P quarter, here's what to do. First, check its condition. Look at the shine, the details, and the overall surface. If it looks almost perfect, it might be worth sending to a grading company. Next, examine it closely for unusual shapes, doubling, misaligned strikes, or missing elements. If a feature looks strange and seems mint-made, you could have something valuable. Always remember that grading and authentication are essential when it comes to establishing real value. In the end, the 1991 P Washington quarter is not a $1.5 million miracle coin, but it is a piece of America's circulating history that still holds surprises for those who know what to look for. The real value is not in exaggerated stories, but in the genuine mint errors, high-grade examples, and the thrill of the search. Thank you for watching and exploring the truth behind this fascinating coin. If you enjoy honest coin facts, deep dives, and real collector information, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with others who love treasure hunting through everyday change. And remember, every coin has a story, and the next great find might be closer than you think. See you in the next video. If you want, I can write a more dramatic version, a shorter viral style script, or a more educational documentary style version.